Time now for some real education. Holy Sonnets are sonnets too. So we spent the first couple of days of the week looking at love sonnets. Those are the most famous sonnets, right? These wonderful sonnets that in 14 lines try to sum up the poet's romantic love for his or her love interest. But by the time you get to the late 1500s and the early 1600s, more and more sonnets were being written to God. As an intimate way of expressing one's love and appreciation for all that God has done. In particular are the sonnets of John Donne, who in 1 year after his death in 1633, these poems, called Holy Sonnets, were published. And they give us some of the best religious poetry and imagery about religious poetry that we've ever really seen. John Donne's Holy Sonnets, also known as Divine Meditations or Divine Sonnets, are a series of 19 poems by the English poet Donne. There he is. He was born in 1572, died in 1631. The sonnets were first published in 1633. 2 years after his death, not one, and they express Donne's love for God. Take Holy Sonnet 10, which is one of my favorites. This is about death. And if you go ahead and slip to the poem, Mike. You've all probably heard this famous opening line, "Death be not proud," right? So this is a love poem to God that really begins with death. And this is one of the beautiful things. The Renaissance spent a lot of time talking about love, but when you scratch the surface of that, the real enemy was time. Time which destroys youth, time which destroys love, time which leads all to death. The real problem that Renaissance poetry was dealing with when it was attempting to talk about love was the ability of time to unmake that. And when time goes by, death isn't far away. Take a look at this little poem. Death, be not proud, though some have called thee mighty and dreadful, for thou art not so. He denies the idea, John Donne, that Donne has any power at all. For those whom thou thinkest thou dost overthrow, those, death, that you think you kill, die not, nor yet canst you kill me. From rest and sleep, which are but pictures of death, much pleasure come then from thee, much more must flow. And soonest our best men with thee do go, rest for their bones and the soul's delivery. What is so frightening about death? The younger people go to death, the sooner they have rest and peace with God. And you go a little further. Donne writes, "Death, you are a slave to fate, to chance, to kings and desperate men. Any desperate suicide can usurp your power, Death. He could end his life shorter than you would have. Kings can sentence men to die, fate and chance. And you, Death, doth with poison, war, and sickness dwell. And poppy or charms can make us sleep as well as you, and better than thy stroke. If all these things, Death, are true, why are you so proud? Why swellest thou then? One short sleep past, we wake eternally, and death shall be no more. Death, thou shalt die." We all owe God a death, and once we pay the price of death, we will never die again. It is death who's at the end of his time.